Welcome to the Chew Brewer Stew podcast. Every other Sunday, we'll release an episode of the podcast featuring an interview with a business owner in the food industry. From restaurants, to breweries, to bakeries, and everything in between. We ask them about their journey and the process of becoming a successful business owner in hopes of helping others to do the same. I'm Mike Curtin, and the podcast starts now. Welcome to the Chew Brewer Stew podcast. My name is Mike Curtin. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so you never miss another episode of the podcast. Don't forget to give us a follow on our social media accounts. All links to those and podcast platforms can be found on chewbrewerstew.com. Thank you for joining us for episode number 11 of Chew Brewer Stew. Today I sit down with Ina Mashiach, owner of Reunion in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Ina tells us how important it is to be present in the restaurant, not only for the customers, but also for the staff morale as well. So here it is, episode number 11. I hope you enjoy it. Hey guys, I'm Mike Curtin. This is Chew Brewer Stew, and today we're at Reunion in Williamsburg, New York with Ina Mashiach. Ina, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the industry?
Sure. So I was born in Russia. I was raised, we moved to Israel when I was 7. I was raised there, had a lot of experience in the food industry. My first job was Pizza Hut when I was 16.
Okay.
That's when I started kind of loving the industry. I went to school for hotel management in Israel and also in Providence, Rhode Island. That's where I did my bachelor degree.
Okay. All right.
I worked for many years in hotels and restaurants. And then we decided to move to New York 7.5 years ago. And we opened our restaurant 5.5 years ago.
Right. And you say that's you and your husband?
Me and my husband.
Okay.
Yes, my husband Eldad. I've been doing this all my life. I love doing this, and I kind of dragged him into this.
Gotcha. And what was one of the, I would say, hardest, what was the hardest adjustment from coming from overseas coming here? Was there a big difference?
Well, it's a huge thing that you do in life.
Right.
Immigrating anywhere, and I've done it twice.
Okay.
And it's probably one of the hardest experience that you can ever really do.
Right.
But the adjustment of moving it is overwhelming in the beginning.
Right.
But when you have a business, all becomes just natural and easy because you have to take care of the business first. So all the other adjustments are not as, doesn't become as scary.
Right.
When you're taking care of the business.
Okay. So, basically one day at a time you have to go. Did you have any family or anything here when you came here?
No. So me and my husband, this is actually our second time.
Okay.
Moving to the U.S. We moved to Providence. Sorry.
Keep going.
We moved to Providence about 12 years ago.
Okay.
When I finished my bachelor degree. My husband was working. We moved to Boston then.
Right.
For another year to work a little bit. And then I was homesick. So we left back to Israel.
Right.
4 years. We got married. We had a baby. And then adjusting back to Israel was actually harder. And we decided to move back to the U.S., move back to New York.
Gotcha.
And then we started a business a couple of years later.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just us. No family. Everybody's back home in Israel.
Right. And you opened this back in, what year was this? 2014?
So that was 2014.
14.
Yep.
Okay. So you've been open for about 9 years, give or take? I mean, I'm sorry, 5 years?
5
So you've been
and a half.
open for 5 years right now?
Yeah.
What was the biggest lesson you've learned so far?
The biggest lesson is probably that if you open a restaurant, you want it to be successful, you have to actually be there all the time.
Gotcha.
You can take breaks, obviously you have to, but you really have to physically be there about 90% of the time.
Right.
That's probably the lesson. That's probably the best advice I can give because the customer feel it, the employee feel it, and really the customers are coming back here because of the personal experience, because of how we communicate with them, how we make them feel at home.
So how important is, you say, taking a break? How important is a mental break from everything at the restaurant?
It's the most important thing.
Right.
You have to take a break for the family, because we do have 2 kids. You have to take a break for your staff as well, because they are sometimes too tired to see you every day.
Right.
And you just stop looking at the cameras on your phone for
Right.
at least 24 hours or 48. And you just say, you know what, everything's going to be fine. It is what it is.
Right.
And you just go to Miami.
Gotcha.
That's what we usually do.
Nice. Very nice.
Get some sun, especially in New York.
Right. Is it tough making family and business work?
Ooh, it is. So many babysitters.
Okay.
At least 6 on staff.
Right.
But they also get involved in a business at
Okay.
one point, which is the fun
Very
part.
cool.
It is very hard because we switch in back and forth, me and my husband. Sometimes one of us works the morning, the night, the weekends. But when they get involved and they love it and they're proud of it,
Right.
and they bring the menus to school.
Right.
My son is 4, my daughter is 8. They both have our menus at school, and they pretend to play with them
Right.
with all the friends.
Awesome.
They talk about it. My daughter works here sometimes, and sometimes on holidays. She comes and she busts tables,
Right.
and she gets tips.
That's awesome.
And I think she gets way more tips than a regular server.
Really? And you have her working full time?
Yeah, she loves it.
Very proud of mom and dad.
Yeah, so that makes it a little bit easier.
Right.
And they understand. That's how they understand.
What was something you never thought you'd have to deal with in this industry?
Oh, probably a lot of emotions.
Okay.
A lot of emotions that you have to deal with different personalities.
Right.
And you have to try and read and react and treat each person as an individual.
Okay.
Because everybody comes from different backgrounds, different countries, different education. And you really have to feel and have a good, how would you say it? And it's sometimes there is an IQ, right?
Okay.
But there's also emotional
Right.
IQ, and you have to really be really good at that to work in this industry, to really get the best from your employees and help them. Just
Right.
help them whenever they need your help in any way, personal, for advice or for money, or for how to be better and how to be more professional in this industry.
Right.
Because these days, the young people, they don't see it as a profession. Everybody's a graphic designer. Besides that, there are dancers and actors.
Part time.
This is my career. This is my life.
Of course.
This is what I've been doing. This is what I have a bachelor degree in. And for me to transfer that to them is not easy, but I think that's what
Gotcha.
I usually focus on.
Was there a defining moment of success for you?
I think to see the line of people on the weekend,
Okay.
to come in, especially in the summertime, and to see a line of people waiting outside, and Uber after Uber coming and parking next to the restaurant,
Awesome.
which makes you feel amazing. And there's a few articles. There's a New York Times magazine which included us in the best shakshuka in New York City, second best shakshuka, but the first one is fine.
Yeah. Take either or, right?
But really to drive in and to park the car and see a line of people outside, and lots of Ubers, and people are happy and drinking and smiling, and the place is packed, and there's over an hour wait. I think that's very exciting.
God bless. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's got a great vibe to it. How did you go about picking the ambiance for this spot?
So this is we call this a love letter to Tel Aviv.
Okay.
We grew up in Tel Aviv. We spent most of our 20s fun years in Tel Aviv, going to clubs and restaurants. And me and my husband, we probably spent all of our money going to restaurants. We are fat souls, as we call it. Right. And when we opened the restaurant, what we tried to create is really Tel Aviv in Brooklyn. And that's, first of all, hospitality, great service. Sometimes people are really surprised when they get the food, it is a serious food, serious service in a very kind of casual Brooklyn place. And
the food is amazing.
Yeah, and that's what we work hard on, to really create serious, delicious food.
Right.
And serious professional service, as it is in Tel Aviv.
Right.
Because Tel Aviv is the capital of amazing food of Israel. It is not a capital, but the
Right.
best restaurants, the best products and service and chefs
Really?
are over there.
Good to know.
Yeah. And just a lot of antiques and a lot of stuff. It's stuff we found through the years on our trips. My parents sent us a lot of antiques and coffee grinders. And the light definitely helps. We have a lot of natural sunlight,
Yes.
which was a blessing when we rented the space. We had no idea how popular this area would be
Right.
when we rented. Nothing was here. And I think also, it makes really good pictures on Instagram.
Yeah, right. Yeah, speaking of Instagram, how do you go about marketing your place? I mean, word of mouth, obviously.
So we did our Instagram for many years. My husband is really good with graphic design, with pictures, and now we have somebody that does that for us.
Right.
His name is The Delicious Life. We also work with the Brunch Boys.
Okay.
Yeah, for a while. They're all really great. One Hungry Jew, and
Right.
a lot of Instagrammers, they became very good friends. People that really love Mediterranean Israeli food.
Right.
So now we work with some social media people.
Okay.
But day to day, we also manage Instagram as well. My husband usually does that. And if we have a special, he will put it on the Instagram. And it's such an important tool now.
Right.
You can't ignore it,
Yeah, I know, absolutely.
especially Instagram. Yes.
Was there anybody that inspired you to open this spot?
Well, I think my dad is our investor. He's
Okay.
our financial investor.
Okay.
Before we opened, he gave us a choice. He gave us a present, an amount of money, and he said you can either buy a house or open a business. It's your choice. He has a business in Israel, and the thought of, first of all, not disappointing him, and he's a Russian dad. He can be very, very scary.
Right.
Not disappointing him, and really prove him how hard we work.
Right.
And that was probably the best drive that could have been. And he's my inspiration as well. My parents are my inspiration because they worked very, very hard when we moved to Israel. They're open a business as well, not in this industry, but
Right.
that hardworking Russian people
Right.
are very big, a little scary inspiration.
Great work ethic.
Yeah,
Awesome.
super hard.
I love it. Could you give us any tips or piece of advice for anybody trying to open their own spot?
There's so many. Sometimes I want to kind of write a book or a guide.
Do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because and there's actually really helpful now, kind of like an email thread of restaurant owners in Brooklyn.
Right.
It's called Bay Bar,
Okay.
and we help each other with lots of advice. But I think the most important advice is work hard. Because if you open a restaurant and you are not present there, it's probably not going to work.
Right.
Unless it's a big chain and lots of investors. But if you're opening your own thing, your own small restaurant, you have to physically be there
Right.
all the time.
Showcase.
All the time, and not just to reach out to customers, but people do love it. People love it when the owner is there and when he treats you personal, but also to make sure everything's right. The recipes are correct. Even today, when the guys were cooking some shakshuka in the kitchen, and he came and said, "Oh, what do you put? What's that spice?" Oh, yeah, we put it all the time.
Yeah.
No, just those little things that you have to always keep track. How you make what spices do you use, and look at the coffee. Check the coffee, the quality and taste all the time. And just, you have to work hard. You
Right.
just have to actually come here every day and quality check all
Quality
the time.
control,
Yeah,
yeah.
quality control.
Absolutely.
It makes you fat, but
Yeah. Hey, listen.
but then
You only live
it
once.
balances exactly.
Right.
But balances out. And I think that's really the most important thing,
Right.
to be present.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have a funny story to tell us?
Oh, there's so many. It's a very fun environment to be. I think probably the best story is that I was the chef in the kitchen.
Okay.
The first couple of years when we opened until I was probably 7 months pregnant.
Right.
But before that, we had a very busy brunch service, probably the first time we ever had, the first year.
Right.
And my husband was the front of the house, I was in the kitchen, and I cut myself really bad. And I have this thing with when I get an injury, not too bad, I kind of faint, like a reaction of the body. And then I cut myself, and I told the dishwasher, hey, can you get my husband? I feel I'm about to faint.
Right.
And my husband is coming inside, and the dishwasher screams, slap her right now. And he did. He slapped me. It didn't help. And I said,
Oh my.
And I said, and this is just seconds, you know.
Right.
And I said, Dad, take me outside because I'm about to faint. And while he kind of takes me on his shoulder, I fainted in the middle of the restaurant on a busy Sunday brunch.
Lovely.
Right here. And all the customers are like, and then they just continue eating.
Yeah, right.
And my husband drags me out to get some fresh air. And while he drags me, he's like, it's a dinner and a show, everybody. It's a dinner and a show.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And
Nobody
then,
could be bothered by anything in New York.
Exactly. And then I got some fresh air. I was fine.
Right.
But that's a story that I got some stitches. It wasn't very crazy. But that's probably one of it happened right here.
Right.
Probably the funniest thing that happened. But it's such a fun industry. Funny stuff happens all the time.
Right.
Interesting stuff. I served some coffee to Katie Holmes.
Awesome.
A few months ago. A lot of famous people came here. A lot of people live in Williamsburg.
Yes.
A lot of famous people that you don't even know.
Yeah.
So that's always fun.
It used to be Manhattan. Now everybody's moving to Williamsburg.
Exactly. And you meet all these famous, interesting people, a lot of artists.
Right.
So, yeah, it's fun every day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Ina, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Mike Curtin, True Brew and Stew, here with Ina at Reunion in Williamsburg. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Hey guys, so that was the podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you were able to take something away from that interview, as you will with every interview. Special thanks again goes out to Ina Messiah from Reunion in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Whenever you're in Williamsburg and in the mood for some amazing Israeli food, stop by Reunion. Their food is guaranteed to have you recommending it to your friends. Every other Sunday I'll be posting a new podcast, so stay tuned. And like I said, subscribe, and you'll never miss another episode. Don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts for video clips of the interviews. Also, if there's something you're curious about knowing from the owners, then I want to ask it. You can email me directly on chewbrewerstew.com. Once again, I'm Mike Curtin for Chew Brewer Stew. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.